Hello, beautiful peeps. It's your girl, Cryssy, and this is Crystal Ballin, the weekly show in which I preview the 49ers schedule by interviewing an analyst from the opposing team and giving you spicy start and sit suggestions for your fantasy football lineups as well. All right, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify, thank you guys for your support and love. I absolutely appreciate you. Let's get into it. So it's Cardinals week, baby. Now, usually Cliffy Boy has Kyle Shanahan's number when it comes to these two teams, duking it out on the gridiron. Prior to 2022, Niners were 3-7 in the Shanny era against the Cards. Arizona's coming off a statement win against the Dallas Cowboys, woo, which I felt pretty great about. It was awesome to witness. We love a good Cowboys smackdown, obviously. Niners are also coming off a dub against the Giants on Thursday Night Football, improving to 3-0 on the season. They're only one of three teams that are left undefeated, including the Miami Dolphins, which that game was insane. If you haven't watched it, go watch the highlights. It's crazy. And then also, obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles. 49ers are the favorite in this one against the Cardinals, but don't you dare sleep on them. Because like the Cowboys seemingly did, they could come through with their guy, Joshua Dobbs. I'm not sleeping on him. His TikToks have been phenomenal. They're amazing. As you guys can see, by the way, I'm not at home in my regular studio. I am not live, but pre-recording from Brescia in this beautiful little place in Italy called Sermione. And they have this amazing little castle that we're going to go and visit tomorrow. I'm doing this little thing from here because it's my mom's 60th birthday this week. And I thought that I'd take her somewhere cool for her birthday. So me, my hubby, my baby, my mom and dad, and my dog are all here right now. And we have this fantastic background. So it's not my usual thing, but we're rolling with it. Anyway, so I do think the Cardinals might be better off without Kyler Murray. And that's a win-win because Kyler definitely enjoys his COD. And that's fine. We're rolling with Josh Dobbs. I really like the kid. I think he's a cool dude. If you haven't seen his TikTok, I'm actually going to put it in here right now.
Josh Dobbs, I'm putting him on a bulletin board. I'm throwing darts at him.
Go Cards.
I'm no expert when it comes to the Red Sea, though. So like every week, I brought in a guest who legit was recognized as the 2022 NFL Fan of the Year for the Cardinals. She bleeds red while on the road cheering on her squad in the most epic fits. Everyone, please give a mini cheer to Suze Haluzan. Hello, Suze. How's it going?
Hi, Crystal. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so excited to talk ball with you. And your vibe is incredible. Look at your background. It's everything. Do you want to this is amazing. I didn't get to talk to you about this, obviously, before because I didn't really see your background. So can you just touch on what you got going on back there and what's your favorite piece?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is, about 17 years of Cardinals memorabilia across, going to many games. So obviously I have my hat collection. There's up here, and then there's a whole bunch on the other side because the dogs get and chew them. So I have to put them away. And then down here, this side here is a scarf from when we went to the London game at Twickenham. So that was really cool. Over here on this side, there we go. Fan of the year. I can't point to it right over here. So when I got awarded Fan of the Year, I'm there with our mascot, Big Red. But this is the showpiece. This is the Larry Fitzgerald autographed jersey. And he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. And he is just the lifeblood of the Arizona Cardinals. So that's definitely my prized possession.
Oh, I absolutely love it. So for any of my followers who don't know you, obviously I have a lot of 49ers fans on my side. Just give a little introduction to who you are and how you kind of became a Cardinals fan.
Yeah. So, I am, like many people in Arizona, not born and raised in Arizona. So I moved to Arizona in 2006 and was really looking to engage in a community because I didn't have any friends or family here. And I always loved football. I was a cheerleader when I grew up. It was always kind of the Friday Night Lights scene, and started going to games. And then, as you guys know, in 2007, 8, 9, we made to the Super Bowl and I was hooked. So I ended up getting season tickets. And that, of course, translates into starting to go on the road and to go to road games. And yeah, over the last, 17 years now, it just grew into like total obsession, just like everybody else with football.
That's so amazing. So yes, you've obviously been to a lot of games. Which one has been your favorite so far and why?
I would say my favorite game was in the 2015 season, the NFC divisional game against the Green Bay Packers. So Carson Palmer versus Aaron Rodgers. game went into overtime, catch by Larry Fitzgerald, taking us down to almost to score and ultimately winning that game. The stadium was rocking. Our stadium is known for making a lot of noise, and I got to experience that with my son who was with me. And in that moment, I knew it was going to be one of those epic games. I turned to him and said, "You just watched one of the best games you will ever see." And till this day, when they do reruns of Larry Fitzgerald, that's the game that they always do clips of. So by far my favorite game to date.
That's beautiful. And you just kind of touched on it, but for any fans that haven't been to a game at State Farm Stadium, what's the atmosphere like there?
Yeah, it's amazing. So obviously we hosted the Super Bowl last year and they had it all decked out. But during the game, even we heard last week, Dallas fans were in half of the stadium, but the Bird Gang was loud. So we're known to get the energy up, to get the noise up. Like we're right up there with the Seahawks Stadium and Kansas City Stadium. So expect a lot of noise when you're going. And then just a great group of people. So we're very fan friendly. Like hopefully not a lot of fights going on. We've seen a lot of that going on across some fan bases, but people in Arizona are chill. The tailgate, there's a great pavilion outside of the front of the stadium to come and tailgate. And of course, like anytime from September to March is perfect weather to come out and come experience a game.
I love that. And so you also have been recognized, obviously, as the 2022 Fan of the Year. I do want to ask you how that experience was for you and what was it like? I mean, just being recognized, like, when Arizona fans look at the Cardinals Fan of the Year for 2022, it's you. How does that feel?
It's amazing. It's quite the honor, as you can imagine. 60,000 fans go to a game. And I was totally surprised by it. So I'd been nominated by some other people that were fans and some people in the organization. So I was quite surprised that it was me. I was convinced it was a friend of mine. And yeah, it's an honor and it's kind of a responsibility because you then become a face of your favorite franchise. But I love it. I've taken it on. And, when I go out and visit with other teams, like we were in Washington for the first game, just try and be a good fan ambassador. You get to talk to a lot of people, which I love to do. I'm in sales. I talk all the time. And it's just a true honor. It's going to be something that is, one of my favorite things in my lifetime legacy. I think a lot of people aspire to be it. And it'll be really exciting to see this next class of Fan of the Years that'll come in about another month or so.
You've obviously got a lot of loyalty to your team. And I mean, coming from somebody like me, I've not witnessed the Super Bowl win yet with the Niners. I started following a little bit after they won the Super Bowl. So I guess for you guys, you haven't won that big championship yet. How do you stay loyal to a team despite the ups and downs each season?
Yeah, that's a great question because, obviously you want to have wins in order to build your fan base and grow. But for me, like I'm just a super loyal person. And so I always see the good in every scenario. Even coming off of last year, we got drafted some amazing players this year, like Paris Johnson, our new offensive lineman, and we get excited about the potential. And so it's those things that keep me going, right? Like I think like any fan, you always think like, what if? And that's what keeps me invested until we finally do get to that ultimate Super Bowl, which hopefully will happen within my lifetime.
Put the vibes out there, right? It should happen. Why not, right? Both our teams actually are coming off amazing wins as well. Like I know you just said that you were at the game, which looked phenomenal. Before I get to my next question, how was that game?
I mean, it was great. I went in with very low expectations because, we weren't really sure who Josh Dobbs was as a quarterback after only being with us for a couple of weeks. And, all the hype that is always around the Dallas Cowboys. So my expectation was like, let's just show up, have a good game and see what happens. But you could tell within the first quarter that we were on a roll. And the atmosphere in the stadium was amazing. And I mean, who doesn't love beating the Dallas Cowboys?
I know it's amazing, especially like playoff beats, like when we beat them in the playoffs. Oh, everything. But I'm so happy you guys won. Honestly, I was a big Cardinals fan that game. I'm not gonna lie.
I think most of America was Cardinals fans last week.
Which is odd because apparently the Cowboys aren't they America's team, but
I mean, that's what to say.
Anyway, so I guess like a lot of people, they slept on you guys. I watch a lot of programs, especially like Stephen A and all them, and they're always like, oh yeah, the Cowboys. Well, Stephen A is against Cowboys, but that being said, they all had the Cowboys to beat the Cardinals in this game. There are a lot of people that continue to sleep on the Cardinals. So I guess, what made you guys pull off such a great victory against them?
Yeah. I mean, I think part of that is underdog mentality, right? So new coach Jonathan Gannon has come in and you've seen quotes of him saying like we want killers. We want those very dedicated players that are going to get better week after week. And so I think that's what we've shown from week 1 to week 3. We are improving. We're able to finish out the games that we weren't able to finish before. But it really is that, devil's in the details. I think the coaching got better. They had some really great play calls against the Cowboys. They knew how to get that run game started, which was super important for us. And it's all those pieces, as anybody knows, any given Sunday, you have to have all the pieces come together in order to have a win.
Amazing. Okay, so let's shift now to our matchup this weekend. In your
Yeah.
humble opinion, what are the 3 keys for the Cardinals to upset the favorited Niners on Sunday?
Yeah. So again, we're underdogs. So I think we're going to be coming in obviously with a lot to prove, but we know that you guys have like a really great run defense. So I think we're going to see a lot more passing going on. So, I keep an eye on our new receiver, Michael Wilson. He had 2 catches for over 20 yards in the last game. I think we're going to see him get some action. Of course, Hollywood Brown, one of our key receivers, always there to help us get in the end zone or, get that additional first down. So I think that's going to be really key. And then, even though you guys are great at the run defense, we have James Conner. So I got props to James Conner and, Paris Johnson for opening up some of those run gaps so that he can get some momentum. So we're going to test it out. Can Paris Johnson defend against Nick Bosa? That's the big question. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
Me too, actually. What are your thoughts on your current starting quarterback, Josh Dobbs? You kind of mentioned it a little bit, but like he's somebody I've seen the TikToks. I see the, the little pettiness that he's got. I kind of love it. I'm here for it. So what do you think about him?
Sure. I love a good, little petty competitive spirit. And we don't see a lot of that sometimes behind the scenes. So, yeah, he is brilliant. He is a rocket scientist, right? As everybody knows. And so to see him get this opportunity, you guys should know this, having Brock Purdy, come in and take over a team. It's really taking advantage of the opportunity at hand. And I think he's smart enough and he's showing that he has the skill set enough to get our team some wins. So I am like fully behind him. And there's a lot of questions now starting to percolate. Like, if Josh is doing well, when Kyler is ready to play, what's going to happen? That's to be determined. But until now, it's his team. And I think he's doing an amazing job.
He also just seems like a good dude. Like, I don't know. I kind of love his personality and everything. And you just root for that kind of guy that gets thrown into it. You want to see those guys succeed. Like the underdog story is amazing, right? So This is a kind of cheeky question. And like, I don't know who I'd choose, but if you had to choose right now and health isn't an issue, would you ride with Dobbs for the rest of the season or would you start Kyler Murray?
Well, I am wearing my number 1 Kyler Murray jersey. I am a huge Kyler Murray fan. I think when he's healthy and we saw glimpses of absolute greatness, he can do things that some other quarterbacks just can't do. And I think now he's going to be even hungrier to come back. So I would say, I want to win at all costs, but I am a fan. I truly want to see what his potential can be because I don't know that I didn't really align with some of the coaching that was happening with him last year. And I think with the right coaches and the right offensive line, there's absolute potential. So I'm going to rock Kyler.
You guys also last year let go of Cliff. Like we all saw that he went off to Thailand. I think that it was. How are you feeling about your new dude, Jonathan Gannon?
Yeah, I love him. And he's got quirks about him, but he's got personality. And I think maybe that's from coming out of Philly. I don't know, but he's got sass. He really is getting the players to step up and deliver. And it's, he's saying it's kind of that hard love kind of coaching, but I think that's what these guys need. But it's really refreshing to see because we weren't getting glimpses of that last year. So I love it.
And this one, okay, so before we get to like my little fantasy football stuff, because I'm a big fantasy football girl, I do want to ask you, because like obviously we're talking about the Cardinals and everything. I just want to know, what game do you have circled in your calendar that you're really looking forward to this year, whether you're going to go to it or just watching on TV?
Yeah, our nemesis really has been the Rams. Right. And they've taken us out. We've taken our quarterbacks out. We've always had an issue winning and competing against the Rams, obviously division rival. You guys know that.
Yeah.
And so that's a big one because I want to go in there and just dominate against the Rams. So I'd say that's probably the one that's circled on the calendar for this year.
Will you be at that game too?
I will not be at that game. No, I usually pick 2 games to go to each year. And
Yeah.
since I've been to SoFi Stadium, I'm going to the Cleveland Browns and Pittsburgh
Oh,
Steelers.
fun. Are you
Yeah.
trying to do a thing where you go to every single stadium?
Yes, I'm at
Oh.
16 stadiums right now. So it'll
Wow.
be 18 at the end of the year.
That's incredible. Which one's been your favorite so far?
I mean, just for overall fan experience, the Raiders Stadium,
Yeah.
Allegiant,
Oh,
it's
sick. The
it
new
was
one.
fantastic. It was like going to a nightclub that had a football game going. It was
Oh, that's
really,
so fun.
yeah.
I love that. And then I do actually, now that you bring that up, I have one more question. Shoot, it just slipped my mind. I'll probably come back to it. Anyways, okay, looking at the Cardinals roster. So obviously, as I said, I'm a big fantasy football girl. For me, I'm going with George Kittle this week. He's like my must start just because we have obviously Brandon Ayuk is kind of iffy. We don't know if he's going to play. Debo has an issue going on right now that we're like, oh, maybe he's not going to play too. And then I also saw Juwan Jennings. So those are like our 3 wide receivers that are probably potentially going to be out. If they're not out, they're probably going to be limited. I think they're going to save them for Cowboys week anyways. So they're probably not going to go too crazy, right? I do think Kittle's going to be the guy for me. It's like, if you have to start any Niner this week, it's going to be Kittle. On the flip for the Cardinals roster, who are you crowning as your starter for this week?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be Zach Ertz, right? So our tight end, he's known for getting in the end zone. He's known for getting us our 3rd down conversions. He didn't see a lot of action in the first couple of games, but I think that was by design again, because we were really focusing on the run game a lot more. But I think he would be my number 1 starter for this game.
Awesome. And then as you were saying about James Conner, he had an absolute day last weekend. Is he somebody that we should be benching in this game, just considering San Fran's run defense is second best in the NFL?
I mean, only if you want to lose. No, I mean, he's a workhorse. And regardless of the toughest defenses that we're going to come up against, James is our guy and he's going to be in the game and he's going to be getting yards per carry. I think he's, listed as like the 2nd leader in yards per carry in the NFL right now. So there's absolutely, he's got to be playing. And, depends on how many gaps we can get for him, but he's been amazing and he's going to continue to be our number 1 guy.
Okay, I have one last question, but the question I had before came back to me. So looking at our division and everything, obviously for me, like I started following the team back in 2011. It's always been the Seahawks. They've always had our number for whatever reason. It's like the Niners. For me, it's the Seahawks. Cardinals, like I have no hate for you guys. I've always kind of appreciated your guys' going to games. I've been to a few games. You guys beat us. Like it's never been like, oh my God, I hate you guys. It's not like that. So when you're looking at the division, who's the biggest rivals for the Cardinals and why?
Yeah, I think legacy for us has been the Rams, because just much like you mentioned, like when we play you guys, the Niners or Seattle, we always seem to split the division. We'll get one game against each other. But for the Rams, we seem to have trouble playing against them. So even though I think not this year, which I'm excited about. It traditionally, I think, has been the Rams for us.
Awesome. I know. You know what it is? Like for me, I look at the Rams and the Cardinals in general, and you guys, the games are fun and everything. Up until recently, the Rams have not really been on my radar either. Obviously, like the NFC Championship game that really sucked a couple years back. But like, I have my heart is full for like both your guys' teams, but like it's for whatever reason, Seahawks, like I can't. I grew up in Vancouver, right? So like I lived and breathed like everyone that was around me was a Seahawks fan. And being a Niners fan was really tough sometimes, but I mean, it is what it is. Last question, because I like to end on kind of an inspirational question, just like lift up everybody and, remind people that even though our teams may be different and they're battling it out on the field, we can appreciate each other's fandom. So looking at the community that comes with it, the experiences that you've had at games and the love that you have for your team in general, what does it mean for you to be a fan of your team?
Oh, I mean, it's family to me, right? So as I mentioned earlier, like I moved to Arizona without any friends or any family and met my new best friend at the games, met my realtor at the games. I've sat with the same family and their mom and dad and the kids, and then they've had kids, and it's the same people over 12 years. And I've seen their kids grow up.
Aww.
So it really has become my second family. And I think it's when you go every Sunday and sit with the same people, like you get super, super close with them. So it's everything to me. I love going. It's so much more than football. I think a favorite quote my friend Kelly had said is like, if you're going to the football game just for the football, you're doing it wrong. And I'm like, exactly, because there's so much more to it.
That's such an incredible quote and so true. Suze, you've
Yeah.
been absolutely amazing. Thank you for everything. Thank you for taking the time to talk football with me today. And I'm very excited for the game this weekend. Good luck to you guys, no matter what. I think it's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see your posts. And yeah, so where can everybody go and follow you on social media?
Yeah, good luck to you guys too. I'm at Sue's Red Sea across all platforms. So hope come follow me along for the ride. And yeah, let's have a great game this weekend. Thanks, Crystal.
Awesome. So thank you guys again for watching Crystal Ballin. I'm back next week with one of my guys who, even though I can't stand the Dallas Cowboys, I appreciate the hell out of him. And I'm excited to get him on to talk about our passionate fandom for both our teams. He's a legend on Twitter during the game day and even a reporter and sports host as well. Can you guys guess who? All right. I love you guys. Sending you all the good vibes for your fantasy wins this weekend. Peace.
Let's go.